Outrageous Talk Entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. What a fucking episode. Man, this was a lot of fun to watch. And there's one thing I want to point out real quick before I run through this episode. Just a few minutes ago, you guys probably saw me upload my season 2 of Arrow review, which I finished watching the second season and then up until the third season, up until this point. And I finished all this probably about a week ago, and I recorded the video, and I hadn't uploaded it, and I said, all right, I have to have it uploaded before Wednesday, because that's when I'm going to do my first season 3 episode review for Arrow. And it's ironic that in that video, if you watched it before you watched this one, that I was talking about Moira and how she bought out that girl who was pregnant with Oliver's kid, and lo and behold, look who pops up in the episode. I jumped out of my seat. My wife actually got scared. I was like, holy shit, because I really didn't think they were going to bring that out this soon, but we'll see how that plays out. But let's talk about this fantastic episode. Now, I do have some issues, believe it or not, as much as I love these two shows, but they're nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Basically, the way the show started off with Prism going into the bank and people going nuts, instantaneously I knew exactly how it was going to become Flash versus Arrow. And that was a little bit like telegraphed. You know what I mean? I think that's something that they could have probably done a little bit better. It was just so obvious. And it's obviously not a bad thing. It was still a great episode. But it was just like, oh, really? I kind of know this now. And I guess it was part of me hoping that they would actually have a showdown that naturally manifested. Like, maybe Oliver wasn't showing enough respect to Barry, and Barry finally got frustrated, and they just duked it out. But it doesn't matter, man. This fucking episode was awesome. Now, it really focuses more on Barry needing to learn how to be a better hero, and how to really control his powers and leverage them in a better way that doesn't cause a lot of havoc. And Oliver is really trying to teach him that. And obviously, Prism taking Barry and, hallucinating him or whammy, as they used in the episode, obviously kind of put a little bit of a damper on that lesson, as Barry really started to lose it and really started to let some of his emotions, some of the things that he really feels, come out. The fact that he thinks Oliver is jealous of him, or that they obviously Oliver is a little bit more blunt. Now we know that Barry probably feels the same way about Oliver that Oliver felt about him, although they seem to have patched things up to a certain extent. We'll have to see tomorrow how they work together again, if it goes smoothly, but I doubt it will, although we won't see a showdown. But, obviously Oliver is much more seasoned. We all knew this going in. Barry's biggest benefit is the fact that he is the Flash. He is a metahuman. Where Oliver is trained, he's gone through hardships. He's gotten to where he is the hard way, where Barry kind of catapulted almost to where Oliver is now simply because of his powers. In terms of the fight, and let's just talk about the fight here, because outside of that, yes, we got Prism, which is a very unique villain. Obviously, the big reveal with Oliver's former girlfriend, who has his kid, unbeknownst to him, thanks to Moira, and all the other things surrounding. Now, the one thing I did notice, which could easily be clouded by the fact that there was such a big showdown between these two, was now Barry's image has changed a little bit. He's going to be seen differently. And now I got to wonder, is Iris going to start writing about the Flash in a negative light? Writing in her blog that she saw him firsthand beat up her boyfriend and just act like a raging lunatic. And that's going to change everything if she starts doing that. So we'll have to see how that's going to play out. And now, of course, Barry said some horrible things to Caitlin, and Dr. Wells, I don't know how the fuck he found out that the Arrow was Oliver Queen, but it didn't necessarily surprise me. It was a very good episode. That even with all the action, they planted a lot of little seeds. You still got the Dr. Wells bullshit going on. Now we see that Caitlin's boyfriend is going to be in the mix now at the very end of the episode. Oliver has a bad feeling about Dr. Wells. Oliver's ex-girlfriend is in the mix. Barry's facing new challenges now that don't necessarily have to deal with his powers, but his image and how the city sees him. And now he also has to deal with, Iris, one hand hating him and on the other hand not hating him. It's crazy. So, and he's got to deal with Iris's boyfriend, who's probably hell-bent on catching Flash now. So even though the showdown was the highlight of the episode, and it was, there were a lot of things going on outside of this that made it a great episode. Like I said, my only gripe was the beginning. You knew within the first 2 minutes of the show how Barry was going to end up fighting the Arrow. It was very telegraphed. It was so obvious. So, but let's get to this fight. So, obviously, Arrow comes to the rescue, and in a small kind of way, I'm kind of like, this is Flash's show. Maybe they should have reversed this a little bit, but Arrow is the seasoned veteran. Arrow did pave the way for the Flash, so I can understand why they went this route. And look, overall, I don't give a shit. It was great. Now, I wish the fight was longer, and the only other thing I have to say about this episode that really made me upset, it should have been 2 hours. It should have been 2 hours, but look, we got to see what Oliver would do and how far he would go to take down a villain with superpowers, which he hasn't had to face yet. Barry is pretty much the first villain with superpower, or not villain, well, he wasn't a villain light, but he's the first person he's ever faced with superpowers. And I know some people might argue Deathstroke, but Deathstroke was kind of like Captain America. Just, it was the same shit. Super strength, super speed, and all that good stuff. So I don't consider Deathstroke a super powered villain. And look, he was overmatched. He really was. It was Barry's inexperience that kind of fucked him, and the fact that during his rage he was really kind of overconfident, a little bit too cocky, and not thinking straight. And basically, Oliver just exploited that. There's nothing Oliver did. He didn't kick the shit out of Flash like he kicks the shit out of other people. I mean, Flash was running around in circles with him and tagging him left and right. And let me tell you something. That also goes to show just how well-trained and durable Oliver is, because anybody else would have been on the floor after Barry did that. So that's another thing that I got to give respect to Arrow, is that he can take the beating dished out by Flash, because those little whip Flash punches, I'm sure those things do not tickle. And again, you could see that in a hand-to-hand match, Oliver technically should not have any chance. And it's not because Barry's a better fighter, because he's clearly not. But Barry is fast. Barry can just run circles around him. But he did a lot of things that were very smart. He had little booby traps set up. He used the Flash's blind side against him, which is how he caught him at the end in the leg. And it was a great showdown. It really gives you an idea of what it would be like for these two to fight. And it makes you wonder, if Barry does get a couple of seasons under his belt, how would it go then? It would be hard to tell, but I would agree with Cisco in this. I think it was a tie. Barry obviously had his moments where he just honestly embarrassed Arrow. But furthermore, Arrow just turned around and embarrassed Barry. Because when you think about it, when you're the fastest man alive, there's no way somebody who doesn't even have anything close to your speed should even touch you. Yet Oliver obviously got in there. He fought. He caught him a couple of times. He really just outthought Barry. And that just goes to show you that sometimes all it takes is experience. And it's really cool. It was a really fun episode. I really got psyched up when he first shot Barry with the arrow and wrapped around Barry, and Barry was like, hold on. And he started dragging him, and I was like, oh, shit. And then when Oliver shot the arrow in the sky to get away from the tornado, and the minute he's swinging up, you just see the Flash running up the side of the building, and he's like, where are you going? I'm like, wow, it's just fucking incredible, because these are techniques we've seen Oliver use before to get away, and they work, and they succeed. And fucking Flash made them look like they were useless. But still, Oliver had that experience advantage. He was prepared. He knew what he was up against, and he had things he had things set up to counter Barry's speed. It was a great, great little showdown. I wish we could have seen more. I really wish it was like a half-hour fight. It would just been so good. But it was done well. I thought the story was good. I thought a lot of the things they did around the fight were fantastic. And, it was a good story that, you could easily miss what was going on in this show just because you're getting so revved up for this fight. But there were a lot of good things being set up for the future on both ends. And I'm only looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in tomorrow's show to see what they set up even further. It was a lot of fun to watch. The Flash is such a great show, and the Arrow is such a great compliment to it. This is a real gem that the CW and DC and Warner Brothers have, and I just hope they continue to nurture these two shows. And I know that they've said in articles that we won't see this happen for a long time, but I have a feeling we'll see it a lot sooner than most people would think. Anyway, guys, that's it for this review. It was a fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What was your favorite moment? And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for, the bold and the brave. I think that'll be a lot of fun as well to see them work together, and hopefully they can act together a little bit more cohesively. And man, it's gonna be fucking epic, man. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what the story has to tell for tomorrow, if they have any more surprises in store for us, and I think they do, so we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers, or visit ETN's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. What a fucking episode. Man, this was a lot of fun to watch. And there's one thing I want to point out real quick before I run through this episode. Just a few minutes ago, you guys probably saw me upload my season 2 of Arrow review, which I finished watching the second season and then up until the third season, up until this point. And I finished all this probably about a week ago, and I recorded the video, and I hadn't uploaded it, and I said, all right, I have to have it uploaded before Wednesday, because that's when I'm going to do my first season 3 episode review for Arrow. And it's ironic that in that video, if you watched it before you watched this one, that I was talking about Moira and how she bought out that girl who was pregnant with Oliver's kid, and lo and behold, look who pops up in the episode. I jumped out of my seat. My wife actually got scared. I was like, holy shit, because I really didn't think they were going to bring that out this soon, but we'll see how that plays out. But let's talk about this fantastic episode. Now, I do have some issues, believe it or not, as much as I love these two shows. But it did nothing crazy. Basically, the way the show started off with Prism going into the bank and people going nuts, instantaneously I knew exactly how it was going to become Flash versus Arrow. And that was a little bit like telegraphed. You know what I mean? I think that's something that they